Son de abuelito. ¿Ok?
¿Abuelita va a enojar?
Abuelito se va a enojar. Entonces ya no toques.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Is my shirt too wrinkly? I look pale. Oye, ahorita te voy a peinar, ¿ok?
¿Ves la soncorita?
Sí, ten. Ese es tu amor, ese es tu amor, ese es tu amor, ese es tu amor. Me miro bien pálida. No pegues, no se peleen. September 29th. I should have filmed this a long time ago. I've talked about it to like my friends and to like my family, and recently to a marketing person from my hospital. So starting September 14th, I had gone over to my ex-boyfriend's house. There was a fight going on, so I remember watching the fight and I remember feeling perfectly fine. Like no me dolía la cabeza. Nunca me ha dolido la cabeza así like fuerte ni nada. Like I slept and I woke up. I was still doing good. Like I think we woke up early that day. We went to go have breakfast at this spot que ahora me da asco. Like just thinking about it. Like at the time while we were eating it, it was good. Found a spot to go to, but when we got there, it was wrong. We were trying to do something, but you had to have your own thing. And so we drove for a while. So we didn't end up doing that because it didn't work out. So we headed back. And I remember stopping by Starbucks. I remember that we got like, we didn't get like treated bad, but like the lady had a bad attitude. So like, you know, we were drinking it on the way. And we ended up stopping by Best Buy. Thinking about it now, it's like funny, like whatever, Best Buy. Ya cuando llegamos a Best Buy, allí ya como que me empezaba a doler la cabeza. I kind of got like upset that we had stopped by Best Buy. So I was like, okay, maybe if I sit down and like relax a little bit, like se me va el dolor or whatever. Nos fuimos to Best Buy and you know, we kept drinking our Starbucks. And the Best Buy was like, I want to say maybe like 10-15 minutes away from his house. So when we got to his house, I was still good. Ahí estaba su papá y estaba su hermana. It was time for me to head home, and usually his dad would take me to meet my mom. This time his mom was like, no, like I'll take you mejor. And I was like, okay, like that's fine. And I remember going into their guest room. I remember like picking up my bag. I couldn't grab it and I remember falling to the floor, and I was like, okay. I was like, weird. I had called him over and I was like, I think he ended up taking my things that day. I was like walking out of their garage and going into the car, and I remember like laughing and like crying, like starting to cry. I thought I was just crying because, you know, I was gonna be emotional because ya no lo iba a ver for a while. And he was like, are you okay? A lot of emotions going through my head. I was like nervous and I was laughing and I was giggling and I was like, my head hurts. And then she was like, oh, tráele un, I think they brought me a Gatorade, or I don't remember what they brought me. Or I remember like drinking the juice on the way to meet my mom. Me despido de él. You know, on the way there, his mom's trying to make like conversation with me, and she's driving and I'm telling her, I'm like my head hurts, and she's like, okay, like don't worry, like let me call your mom. And so she calls my mom and she's like, hey, like Valeria doesn't feel good, que le duele la cabeza. But like my mom didn't really believe, I don't want to say that she didn't believe her or believe me, but my mom like didn't know how real the situation was, I guess. I remember her driving and she was like, oh, I'm sorry if I'm driving crazy and que no sé qué, because my body kept like leaning towards the left side, and she was like, I'm sorry, I'm driving crazy. En ese momento yo no sabía que ya, like I had no control of my left side. I don't know like en qué momento when when I was in the car with her that I lost control of my left side. And so we get to the spot, and then she gets off, she opens my door, and my mom's like, come on, like get off the car, let's go. And I couldn't move. I could move my right, but I couldn't move my left, so I couldn't like move. So my mom's like, what do I do? And so my ex-boyfriend's mom was like, okay, like just call the ambulance. And so they called the ambulance, and they got there quick. Once I was in the ambulance, I was like, okay, I was like, what's happening? Like, what's going on? Like, nothing serious like this had ever happened to me. So I was like, okay. Like, I was trying to process it, but I'm like a super emotional person. So whenever it's like something's wrong, or whenever I can like, I was already like crying. I was already like, what's happening to me? Like, I was scared. So we're in the ambulance, and they're checking my like sugar levels, I guess it's called. I don't know what it's called. Cuando te pican el dedo, y ahí empecé a llorar más because I remember, me acordé de when I used to do it for my grandma, and like I was just super emotional, and I was super scared, and I didn't know what was happening. And so then I don't know if they gave me medicine in the ambulance or not, but we got there pretty quick. That's how I knew something was like wrong, because the lights were going off. And after that, I remember they pulled me in like to the hallway, and at the time I was 17, so I was able to go into the pediatric side. We're waiting there, and we were waiting for I remember waiting for there for a while, and I remember seeing this nurse's really nice outfit. And my mom was like, hey, is there any way she could get like some medication? She has like a really bad headache. The nurse was like, okay, we could give you this, or we could give you this, which is stronger. And so I was like, just give me the stronger one, because like I said, like my head was hurting like a lot. As soon as the medicine went into my body, it was like I felt it going all over my system. It was super scary. And ya después de eso no me acuerdo de nada. But my mom says that everybody pulled up to the hospital. My ex-boyfriend's parents, my sister, my grandpa, my mom, y mis tíos, mi tía y mi tío. And they were there, and they just said that everything happened so quick, and that nurses were coming in and out of the room where I was in. I don't remember anything. Like, I don't remember them telling me that I was gonna go into surgery. I don't remember anything at all. They said that they didn't take that long until they took me into surgery, and then that's when they told my mom that I had a brain bleed and that I had AVM, which is arterial venous malformation in the brain. The blood vessels in my brain were tangled, and that tangled caused a brain bleed. So the surgery that I had that day was to get rid of the blood clot that I had. And so they took me into surgery. Saliendo de la surgery, I remember specifically, and because I have a picture of this moment where I felt my lips super chapped, and I remember my ex-boyfriend's mom poniéndome lip gloss, and that lip gloss has a specific scent, like a vanilla scent, and that's literally what I remember. And I remember my doctor being like, hi, I'm Dr. Blank, and I was like, Dr. Blank, like from Grey's Anatomy? And my doctor was like, yeah, but in boy form. And so ever since, or my surgeon and I have been like this. Pues no me acuerdo mucho de ese día, because como les digo, and I had so much medicine going on. In that surgery that I had done, they had left like a wire. It's called an EVD, which is external ventricular drainage. Because of the brain bleed that I had, they had to drain the excess fluid, because I was in the PICU, pediatric ICU at Children's Memorial Hermann. I remember being so emotional, and I felt my head like so swollen, and so when I woke up from my surgery, I actually like had no idea that all of this had happened. My mom came and told me, I think after I woke up from my surgery, you know, I saw everybody around me and they're looking at me kind of like weird, because, you know, my face was so swollen, and I mean, they were all super scared for me as well. Super emotional the first days, or like the whole time I was in the ICU. Because I was in the ICU only because I had that drain, and that drain, like, you had to be like very careful with it. So they would come like every other hour to come and like make sure the drain was good, and the doctor would be like, oh, like, look, this is what an EVD looks like. And then, you know, they asked like their questions or whatever. Since I still had no control of my left side, the neuro staff, they would come early in the morning, like 5, 6 in the morning, to come and check on me and make sure. I'd be like, okay, can you feel this on your foot? Can you feel this on your arm? Does this and this feel the same thing? What's today's day? What's your name? Where are you at? You know, they would ask me all like the basic like sigue esta lucecita. After they would come, go back to sleep, and then like I'd get some medication. After those first couple of days, I no sé cuántos días me tardé y luego ya me pudieron quitar el wire. She removed it and she had to stitch up. I was awake and I don't think I felt it, but in that whole process, like while I had my surgery, like I wasn't able to move, so I was just like on my back, like laying down on the bed. And when I had my surgery and everything, my hair was tangled, it was a mess. The nurses from the ICU would like come and try to like undo my hair a little bit, like para que no se me miraba like tan feo, I guess. I was able to get physical therapy, and I remember like the first days being super hard on me because I've always been super independent. I've never liked to get help or ask for help. I've always been able to do it like myself. That was very, very different for me. And I remember I couldn't eat. Speech therapy came, and speech therapy was like, okay, well, they did like some assessment on me and I wasn't ready to eat like food, like real food. I had to get a feeding tube, and I wasn't able to eat for a while. But I remember specifically craving a Chipotle bowl. Like that's what I really, really wanted at the time. This one time I was in physical therapy, okay, and I'm just gonna say this part because it was my experience, I lived there, whatever. And so I remember specifically I was so emotional, and I would always ask for my boyfriend and for my sister, and I couldn't talk, and I think I would whisper, and I would write my ex-boyfriend's initial on my mom's hand, like over and over and over, and she'd be like, he's at school, like you have to wait, like. And then I would write my sister's initial, and obviously she was at school as well, so el día se me hacía eterno. I would spend like the whole day like waiting for them, and it just sucked. So I remember this one time, because he was like underage, and so he called for him in order to like go and see me and stuff. And when they came into my room, they were like, hey, like your boyfriend's out there trying to see you, and this and this and this. And I just thought, like, at the time, obviously I felt like the luckiest girl in the world, because like he was really like trying to see me, you know. I don't know who he called, but point is, by the end of the day, I was able to see him, like he was able to come in. So yeah, después de eso, I don't remember. I just remember like teniendo mucha visita like during the day. The visiting time was over like by 9, I want to say. So obviously they would all leave, and my mom would, and it would just be like my mom and I. My nurses would come, give me my medicine, and we would watch movies. September 23rd, 2024, the day before my 18th birthday, I remember my favorite nurse coming in. She was like, I'm so sorry, like I won't be able to take care of you. I was called up to pick you, and I'm so sorry. And I remember her crying, and I remember like turning over, like looking at the people that were there, and I was like, it's okay, like don't worry, like you don't have to cry, like I'm gonna see you. Esa noche me acuerdo like hearing some like rattling going around. Sure enough, when I woke up, my favorite nurse had decorated for me. I was like, oh my god, like I saw the whole decorations. I was like, I don't remember specifically what she told me. She told me happy birthday, and she gave me a hug, and she gave me my medicine. One of the medicines I was on would make me super, super sleepy, so I had gone to sleep. And I remember being woken up by all of the nurses in the ICU, and they came in my room and with posters, and I don't know, like they were celebrating for me because it was my 18th birthday. A day or two after that, they were like, okay, like you're doing pretty good, you could go to like the regular floor now. And I was taken to, I'm pretty sure I was still on the pediatric nursing, to the regular floor, and by Friday I was already at tears. So everything happened quick, and so everything like me pasó super rápido, and I was still super emotional. And so I was like, okay, like relax, like Valeria, you're gonna be okay, like this is good because you're gonna get help. So then yeah, when I got to tier, they all came in and they were introducing me to like the staff. They had brought in a chair, and when I sat in that chair, it had all sunk in. I was like, oh my god, like I was like, I can't move, like ¿qué voy a hacer? At the time I needed a lot of help, and I was like, how am I even gonna, like am I even gonna be able to walk again? Like what's gonna happen? And it was just like super scary, like not knowing if I was gonna be able to move my left side again. How is this gonna work out? Like Monday comes around, it was like a routine, and then by 9 I had to be ready because I had physical therapy they got me on the chair, and I remember not like being the happiest because I was on that chair. We made it to like this hallway that they had right there on the floor, and they were like, we're gonna like guide you to walk. And so me ayudaron a como caminar, and I remember walking like by day 1, and by like day 2 I was like almost there. There was still some things I had to work on. OT helped me more with like my motor strength. OT would come in and they would try to help me get ready, and I'd be like, or the nurses would come in and she'd be like, do you need help changing? And I'd be like, no, like I got it. Like, but in reality I really did need help, but it was just me not accepting the fact that I had to get help. My hair was still all tangled, so my nurses would come, my therapist would come, and then my ex-boyfriend's mom, she also would come and help me. Like, she was dedicated. My ex-boyfriend's mom and his extended family, like his sisters and unas primas, and they helped pay this lady to come and like undo my hair. Like, that lady was there for a while and she was able to get some done, but by the time she finished, it was like, I don't think we're gonna be able to get through all of that. I think we're gonna have to cut it. And so whenever she told me that, I remember like before all of this had happened, I remember like my hair was super long, and I remember being in love with my hair because my hair was always super thick. It was barely starting to get like a length that I wanted, and I had always loved having my hair super long. So then that's when everybody tried to really help me. They would come and see me and they'd be like, okay, like let's work on your hair. By the end of those 2 weeks before my second surgery, my hair was untangled, and my cousin came and she braided my hair. And so I had to say my goodbyes to all my therapists, and I gave them flowers and good experience over there. It was just like really hard. I've never been a morning person, so waking up early and having to do all those things like was like, oh my gosh. But I knew it was gonna help me out at the end of the day, so I was like understanding. But there was some like really hard days because the medicine I was on made me nauseous. October 15th came, and you know, we were waiting on if we were gonna have a room in the hospital or not. Like, you know, everybody was texting my mom, everybody was sending me cute messages. I was making like letters because I thought like, I don't know like what's gonna happen, so I'm just gonna make letters just in case. And so we got transferred probably like super late. Got into a room, and they had to move us from one room to another room, and they were like, okay, well now we're gonna switch you to this room, because by this time I was already 18 and they were trying to take me into like adult side, but I was like, no, like my pediatric surgeon said that I could stay in the pediatric side. So I remember they had to come in, and then they had to give me a CT scan, and that I got that scan pretty late. By the time they came and they got me in for surgery, I had barely gotten any sleep, and they were taking me in at 7 in the morning, and I remember being like super scared. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I didn't know like what the outcome was gonna be. They were taking me to the pre-op room, and so I remember I had my mom and my grandpa there, and then my dad was there. And before my dad got there, they had given me already like anesthesia because I was like nervous and I kept crying, and my grandpa prayed for me. I went in the room. Okay, now we're gonna put some more medicine so you can relax. And they were like count to 10. I remember before fully like being under anesthesia, I remember looking at the clock and it was like 7:23 in the morning. Pues ya me quedé dormida y pues me hicieron mi surgery. When I woke up, nobody was in the room anymore. It was just like 2 people. It was like, I think it was like a guy and a girl. And then I remember like waking up and seeing the clock, and I was like 7:45. I was like, but what happened? I was like, why didn't you guys take long? And they were like, oh no, it's 7:45 p.m. And I was like, well, whenever they told me it was like 7:45 p.m. I was like, oh my god, something happened. And then I think like as soon as I woke up, I like squeezed my hand and I moved my like left side to make sure I was okay. And I was like, oh my god, I can move my left side. I don't remember if it was 7:45 or 8:45, and I was like, while they were taking me to the room, the que hacen los anuncios, they were like, okay, visiting time is almost over, there's 10 more minutes. And I was like 10 more minutes. And the people taking me to my room, they were like, okay, we're gonna try to hurry up so you can see someone at least. And you know, by the time we got to the room already, it was already like, I think it was 9. But by the time I got to my room, visiting time was over and I wasn't able to see anybody. But I was able to make some calls, and I remember calling like everyone and telling them that I was okay. And I was there for like a day, and then I got transferred to another room, and then I got transferred like to another room because since I was already 18, I had to go to the adult side. People came and visited me. My mom was there like throughout everything, so I felt like, so she was like my comfort in a way. After that surgery, I was only there for like a day or two in the hospital. They were like, okay, they were like, you should be all clear to go home. Like, I remember getting cleared on a Sunday, and I remember, yeah, going home, and I remember being like still like drowsy, and my face was super like the, obviously I wasn't gonna feel the prettiest, but I just didn't feel like good. My mom, like on her way to the house, my mom was like, are you okay? Like, because everything happened so quick and I left so quick. Like, I got the all clear so quick. So finally leaving the hospital was also very scary because we were now on our own. And obviously I had my mom, and like at the time while we were at the hospital, she had learned a lot. Okay, like I was trying to relax, but I just remembered being like super worried. Again, I was just like super emotional, and I got home and my friends ended up decorating my room, and maybe I came off like in a rude way, but that was never my intention. I was just super tired and emotional, and we're there for maybe like 20-30 minutes, and then I was trying to go back to school as soon as possible because it was my senior year. School has always been super important for me. I think we had like an appointment with my surgeon like the next week, or within like 2 weeks from that day. And so then we went to that appointment and we saw my surgeon. Like, this is what it looked like before, this is what it looked like. You're doing better now, and since you haven't had any seizures, you could get off of the anti-seizure medicine. And I was just like super like skinny and underweight. And that same day we went to my school, and I remember walking in, and I remember everybody looking at me like super nervous. And that was the first time I had ever gotten nervous, like in general, like en esa escuela, con esa gente. That had never happened to me, so I was like, okay, like it's okay, like relax. They were able to pull some strings in order for me to graduate, or this past year, with my high school diploma and my associate's degree. I think I started school then like the next day, or I remember walking into like back into my school, and I remember like everybody's eyes on me. But by this time I didn't have my hood on anymore. I had nothing else like to cover it up, like, so I had to go así, which is like, was never a big deal for me. I graduated high school in May 2025, and I was able to graduate with all my friends, and I was able to finish school. I also graduated with my associate's degree in science. That week before my incident, I had recorded a video and I had put it up on YouTube or whatever, and I felt like my life was so perfect. I felt like I had everything. I had a boyfriend at the time. Like, my family was good, I was good, like I felt good, like in general. I felt like I was on top of the world. And then like the following week, like everything changed and everything flipped, and I was like, what's happening? Like, it just really made me reflect a lot. It's now been a year since my AVM. Obviously a lot of things changed, but no se puede quedar igual. Change is good, and I'm just super grateful for my doctors and my nurses and family and friends that were there for me. I've had 2 seizures ever since, but I was able to get back on the anti-seizure medicine. They've just said that headaches and seizures right now are like very prone to happen because, yeah, it's been a year and I'm healed and I'm able to walk, but I'm not healed internally. So we're still on the lookout for that, and I have a doctor's appointment in November. I'm just thankful that everything happened the way it had to happen. And this is also like good because in a way I was able to reconnect with like my dad's side of the family, and like we're now planning like a trip to go on, which I thought would have never happened. And like we're going out and we're doing things and we're seeing them more often, which I love. I don't know what else to say, but it's been a year, and if you're going through something similar, stay strong, échale muchas ganas, don't give up easily. Getting help is a good thing, it's not a bad thing, so accept the help that you need. That's where I'm gonna end it because voy a seguir chillando, but I'm thankful for everyone that helped me throughout the way. I've never done one of these like sit down videos. It's not that I didn't want to do one of these videos, it's just like a part of me, so it's like I cannot not talk about it, so had to be brought up sooner or later. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Is ready for that. Good job, Vale. You're working super fast, baby. Good job, Vale. Good job. You're doing really good.
It's hard to tell what I think so.
A little faster. Hija, vas muy bien.
Así caminaba en la escuela.
This is how she walks at school. Oh, good job, mi amor. Let me see you. Oh my God. Because, sí, claro. Good job, Vale. Hoy también tenemos porra. I saw you. Mis compañeras de sus terapistas fue su premio de todas las 2 semanas. Pero miren, ya anda con su
Guess I'll do 5 seconds after. Hold it.
You got it, you got it, you got it.
Okay, now you can open it.
Okay, yes. Go.
I'll be back. You're busy. You have to come visit.
You're so sweet.
I'm so proud of you. So proud of all our work. Oh my God, it's nice.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Sure. Le hizo su tus tías, los vecinos. Good job, Vale. Good job, Vale.